Well, hello everyone. Here to show you right here talk about for advertisements, so like logos and any source of commercial ads, but talking about for logo designs and any source of logo and basically what is a logo, and if you want to look at it like kind of like a stamp, this stamp right here is going basically that that if you're going to maybe be looking in the papers or maybe getting text messages or anything like that, it's like, ways of how we can describe a logo. And with this logo design right here that I just quickly, within about maybe 20 minutes, put this together right here, is that this right here was an example right here of a logo. And it will be an example of, something that catches your mind within about maybe 5 or 10 seconds. And how many of us are going to maybe come up to that situation to where something that somebody that makes something sound so easy and just like, just sign up for something, or, just pick up the phone and do it or something like that. You may have heard that a lot of times about certain things. But talking about, we know that with most commercial ads, though, that people, we think about them kind of like as to where that necessarily for what exactly are they for. And I guess it's basically about keeping their customers and businesses updated about the latest sales and anything that's going on with their products, and then any source of updates like that. But I know that most of us have seen from the previous talk about for Amazon, Amazon Mala, but you see right here is this right here would be like an icon. It is like kind of like an icon. And I know back whenever I was young that putting together an example of a logo, and I know that there's probably a lot of neat stuff that maybe you can do with a logo, and it's supposed to look like like a little sticker. And with the sticker, it's basically that somebody, if somebody has to make a quick decision, or maybe that something that this person, somebody that just doesn't want to spend the extra 15 or 20 minutes and going through the details about, what's highly recommended. So that you're going to get feedback maybe from other customers, and anything about online sites it is. But you have right here a talk about for logos, and I'm sure most of us have seen logos before, if it's by email or text messages or radios. I'm like, you hear about that, maybe on the radio stations, and you name it. Like you see the commercials on on television and other locations, and you're like one or two that some not all the advertisements are really going to explain every detail about then I talk about maybe your credit history or something like that. But I'm talking about like a logo, though, that like if anybody will want to word that maybe kids are going to be kids, but sometimes, back whenever I was a kid, that I can remember that once or twice, if you want to help the parents, if you want to help mommy and daddy take care of something, and you're going to want to go ahead and say that you want to do you want to pay your parents a favor, and maybe make a phone call or something like that. But you have right there, the logo design right there, and then you have right here for easy. And so sometimes, though, with some of these commercials, I'm sure most of us have seen all this before, but with these commercials, though, that when we see these commercials advertised, though, it seems like to where that, just like if you were to be, maybe one of your favorite TV shows, that watching television and anything like that. That you're going to maybe see it to where that, sometimes, though, it seems like it don't make it sound so easy. But talk about for easy, though, that sometimes that, and it seems like to where that, that you're going to have somebody that's going to maybe talk to you about that, you could have asked me, and I'm like, just like, if you, if you want to get, you were looking, maybe if you were shopping, maybe for a for concert tickets or somebody, any source of tickets, or maybe about spare, if anybody were to say that, if it's between a snack or maybe your favorite toy or something like that, that you're likely say is to where that you didn't really ask somebody, for assistance, or didn't ask if they had a spare, a spare piece, or like anything that you were looking for earlier, that somebody's going to tell you that you could have talked to me and I could have given you a pair or something like that. But I can maybe say on general that one thing that maybe that you would like to have, but then you had to wait maybe a couple of hours to get it. And I would just say maybe a magnifying glass, or a calculator. I'm like, it reminds me back whenever you were in, finals, finals week. I'll use a calculator right here as example right here, because, most of us would probably say you don't have too much of a hard time trying to find a calculator around. But let's just say though that if there's a point to where that maybe the calculator was not working, or maybe that you didn't know if you could even use a calculator during the exam or something. And so I'll go ahead and use a calculator right there as an example. And but with this calculator right here, that you say is to where that if you don't think that you can even use it, then while you're taking a test, that it's like, the test was a lot harder because you were trying to figure out the answers, so you were kind of thinking in your mind about what the answers were. And sometimes, we don't really see, logos very much when we're before, maybe 2 days before the final exams, if you're going to be tested on something, that you don't really see very many except maybe on the announcements. I'm like, the announcements, I guess that's another way of how we can describe advertisements for announcements, but for what you can and cannot use during the exam. And sometimes, though, it seems like, that why is it that, something, I guess, that usually, like most teachers or anybody that, if it's going to be, marketers or anybody that may say that is to where that you could have called and could have gotten that arranged. And I know, why is it? I wonder too, why is it that some, some of us make something sound so easy than what it was before? Because, what was more complicated about it earlier was that maybe if there was technical problems or something that you didn't quite understand, or that you were waiting, to get the email back about confirmation or something like that, or it may have been, a letter that, so it's like, anything that you could work out for later on time. But most of the logos, though, that we see right here, this logo example right here, is something that I put together right here, mainly just to show as to where that, like a besides a button note, I'm like, something that you can easily, push, and something that catches your if you want to call it like catches your eye, that you want to, whenever you find something, that the first thing that comes to your mind, the first thing that catches your eye, just to get your attention, and then you'll be able to. It's like it's a sign that contains a lot of information, but that information can only be realized and memorized and readable just by the way it was designed. So you have right here is mala right here. So this right here, this design right here may look like just like maybe a few shapes and maybe some wording and textures or something like that. But let's just say that with the way that this logo design was put together right here, and let's just say that with the colors too, with the different colors, that there's a lot more to this logo than maybe maybe I may realize and maybe other people may realize, as to whenever I know some of those logos maybe we see on maybe social media, to where if you hold your finger down on one of these on the left corner or on the right corner, and there will be like text highlighting as to where that you'll sign up today, or a certain plan that's now being posted or something like that. And we more likely see a lot of these maybe related to our taxes. I'm sure most of it is related to taxes, not really about maybe summer camp or spring break or anything like that. But with most logos, though, that whenever we're going to be looking at these logos, that I guess if we want to call it to where that's like the first thing that maybe that's going to get the person's attention, is to where that you one or two that really, I mean, how come the the emergency service lines, I mean, you one or two that maybe that there could be a logo design, for that, just to where that if there's going to be if there's a medical emergency, then it would be like, if you want to call it like phones, phones that would have those mobile apps to where that you would it would connect you directly to an emergency service line or something. And that having that capability, and I guess if you want to call us to where that you would have that capability to where that have a logo, but logos, I guess, if you want to call us to where that they are what you call an example of something to where it catches your mind for the advertisement, and then for like it's, I guess it's supposed to be like kind of like, it's a sticker and a sign. It's supposed to be like a sign to where that if you want to call it to where a sticker to where that something that you don't really recognize there at first, or something you don't realize, and something that maybe you didn't notice. I'm like, something different about the logo, that the logo looks just a little bit different from what you've seen from before, or if it looks very interesting, and so you're going to go ahead and whenever you check out that logo, and then that with most logos though, whenever you're looking at some of these logos, that sometimes that you may only stare at them for about maybe 5 seconds. And at 5 seconds, though, that they're like, say that, logos are logos. They're like, these little sticker-looking things that you even see in the papers. And they're just, like highlights. You see those on advertisements. You can't really click on them and do much. You can't really, it don't really take you to a different web page or anything like that. But, so if anybody were to ask me to, whereas like with most logos, though, that whenever you're going to be looking at a logo, that if you want, even if you're going to be finding, something like, if anybody say back whenever they were young, if they seen something on the floor that kind of interests them, or maybe they seen something on the magazine rack that kind of interests them. But still, though, that it's not really what you call a button that you can push, but I have right here is to where that to keep posted. You got right here's the calculator right here, but still, though, that to keep posted about the latest. So it's like smart choices, and how many customers will maybe say this to where if they're going to be shopping online or shopping anywhere, and they're going to also be like think as to where that they're going to maybe see a logo, and maybe see something to where it's going to tell them to where that hey, check us out today, sign up today for your free it's free trial. I'm like, you get free results, and then if you and sign up for your membership. And so that this right here will be example of a logo, and then this right here will be example of the details on the inside. And I guess if you want to call us to where if that's really the best way of how to explain it, to where that you learn by your experience, but also that full details, of course. But I guess the best way of how we can really explain about why something seems so easy than what it really is, because that I guess everybody's going to learn at their own pace, at a different pace, and we're all going to have our own opinions about stuff. But let's just say, though, that with me, though, back whenever I was young, that I was pretty confident in learning new things, and whenever I would know for sure about what was considered to be a concern, and what's not a good idea, and what's a good idea about certain things. And so you're just thinking as to where that whenever you're going to be looking at a logo, and it's not like if anybody say that you know what a button is, don't you? I'm like, but you do stuff back whenever you were young that maybe you don't realize that caused a serious issue, a serious problem. But so let's just say that with the logo right here, that with a logo that like any source of advertisements, though, we're going to see a logo right here. But let's just say out of all this other stuff right here, besides the picture and the things that maybe not everybody's going to understand either, if you see a magazine rack like this that's displayed right here with about 4 or 5 magazines and maybe a few papers, maybe not everybody's going to want to take time to look at all that and read it and just kind of reorganize everything. And that sometimes that if there maybe been some coupons in some of the newspapers on this magazine rack that maybe have been expired for about maybe over a week, and you really had the time to go through all those papers. And so just think as to where if you could look at a logo, and let's just say if there was like something like about that logo to where it directed you to a certain area on the left or right corner of the logo, and it would tell you about the coupons available, and then visits today or something like that. So yeah, that logos though, that it's like what you call it. It's a way of how to even if you only have about maybe 5 seconds to look at a logo, if you're in a hurry to get out the door one morning, and then you make a cup of coffee or something, and then you only have so much time to really look at certain items, and just thinking as to where that that if there's a sale going on today, or just something else to where that you think that you'll be able to use later on, or that you want to think of later on, and that you will be able to look at a logo. And and how many of us have maybe thought of that to where like a highlight, to where that if you want to use like a logo as like a note, like a little friendly reminder, to where that don't remember to pick up milk at the grocery store whenever you get home from work or something like that, milk or juice or something like that. So yeah, that we could probably think about logos to be used for certain like reminders, but for advertisements though, that something to where that something that could be used. It's like a sticker though, and I know that with a few advertisements that I'm sure most of us have seen before, to where that a lot of these companies that make it sound so easy just to be able to sign up for it, or just to be able to use the service of some sort, but it seems like with most companies now, like Best Buy, or if it's Amazon or Walmart.com, that I guess they're going to do all what they can just to make sure that they provide the service for their customers, and that they're going to ask them for their feedback. And there might be about maybe 50% of the time that the customers are going to say that they appreciated the service, because that what helped a lot, and then about they're from their previous orders, and they might mention something about the logo that is like if that's well explained as well as advertised. So let's just say though that with that logo right there, that you look at it for about maybe 5 or 10 seconds or something like that, and you're just like thinking as to where that maybe there's a lot more to it than what you see on the advertisement. But talk about right here is like that with most of these advertisements, quite a few of them that kind of go on, that talk for about maybe 45 seconds to about maybe a minute about making it sound so easy. And I guess you can maybe, like, if anybody were to say that, maybe a background check, if a background check was not required, and plus, certain, the other things, other concerns that matter that take place too, and that's not so easy as well. So I guess, how are we going to be able to explain easy, between easy and hard, to anyone, really? But I just really think, though, that just to make sure that we get what we need to get done within the time that it needs to be done. And it seems like to where that most of us would say that if you do your part, then it's going to get done on time. But that part is going to maybe is to where that maybe do the research about what you need to do, and as well as studying a little bit more about what you need to do. And it's really like to say is to where that why is it that somebody talks to you about something to make it sound so easy, and no problem, well, you could have talked to me and I could have worked it out with you. I'm like, yeah. And that could also anything that's related to online, or maybe if it's related to like carry-out assistance, if you needed help, maybe with carrying something, out of the store or something like that, then once or twice, nobody's going to offer you a shopping bag to make it easy to carry everything. And places that you go to that maybe that not all the time that you're going to be offered a shopping bag, and so you're going to ask somebody for a shopping bag. But sometimes whenever you don't ask, and then you come back there, maybe several hours later, come back there to the same store, and you're gonna be like, well, hey, you could have asked, and we would have given you. I'm like, the last time I asked, that you said that you were out of them, or you all were too busy with something else, and I know. I know that whenever you're real busy with something, that sometimes that people want you out of the way, and then you can't get what you were wanting to get. And or if it's a receipt, or maybe if it's anything that is related to maybe change. And I know, especially during the busy shopping hours, that if you're going to be going into the store to get something, and if everybody's going to be all busy, and they don't have enough time, this person is not going to have enough time to offer you a shopping cart, and you're likely say is that you asked before, but then that they were all too busy really to assist you, but still that between busy and easy. Yeah, that if you take off the A and then put a B right there, it's like for busy easy. If anybody were to ask me as to where busy easy, I'm like that's it's like the opposite, it's the total opposite compared to easy and simple, ain't it? If you take off the A and then put right there the B and then the E, for busy, and whenever people are busy, it's not that easy. Yeah, I know it. Whenever people say that when somebody says that they're busy, that usually means is to where that well, whatever that you want to do, I don't have time for it right now. But then after about maybe 5 or 8 hours later, or maybe 3 days later, oh, you could have asked me and I would have helped you out. I'm like, don't make it sound so simple. But anyway, if anybody were to ask me that, do you think, especially the online stores now, with these logos here, that do you think that it would be, wrong just to go ahead and put busy, put busy on the logo right there, for busy hours, you're going to have maybe a logo to download to your mobile app, have a mobile app that says, if the store, if it's too busy, then you can go and download this app to your phone or something. So that you're going to have, to where people don't feel very confident of getting stuff done, or they don't feel confident of asking questions, maybe because if you get too busy enough to where it seems like that they want you out of the way, somebody asks you to get out of my way, come back later or something. Yeah, get out of my way and come back later. And sometimes the way people talk like that, and then it's like, maybe a logo is going to be used, because you're likely say is to where that whenever you do part of your part of the research and all that, it seems like that at least, it's something to be proud of. At least you're able to figure it out at your own pace about how to use something. But if you're talking about whenever you ask for assistance for something, then sometimes somebody's not going to be there to assist you, and that could be very aggravating. And sometimes that's whenever the automated service comes along, and that's whenever like the logos. Click on the logos, and you'll be able to have access to the frequently asked questions section from there on their website. So it's like that with a lot with logos though, that whenever we see these advertisements though, that quite a few of them, if they're going to be busy and you're trying to get something done within your time, and you're trying to get something certain done within how it's all managed, and then for what you need to do, and what you need to do is be like, say, make sure that you got the coupon ready and all that. But I'm also wondering too, as to where that it's not maybe that's not all that simple either. But anybody say, it's that they make it sound so simple on some of these advertisements. It's like, hey, have a seat. Let me talk to you about something. Some people that make it sound so easy is just like sitting down. Do we know what that means, just to sit down somewhere and find a nice comfortable spot and sit down, huh? But how many of us are gonna maybe think as to where if I want to go maybe. But go into the details. But let's just say though, that if somebody were to say that to her, that you gotta brush the seat first before you can have a seat or something like that, or that before you sit down, I need to make sure that it's got plenty of fabric softener or something. But I'm not trying to make a joke about that either. But still that. But what I'm saying, is like, when somebody says something about something so easy, and I guess if logos are designed for that, to where that's something to where it catches your attention very easily. So if not everybody has a whole lot of time really to read and just to be able to look at an advertisement, kind of like this right here, to where this right here will be example right here of, like, say, an advertisement like for full-time subscription or any source of plan that you're going to be enrolled into, that you're also going to be warned to where that you got a lot of time at home to where you're going to go ahead and be able to read more and study more about something. But with these logos here, with this logo, I created this logo, and not really, if you want to call it like professionally made, but made enough to where it contains the different colors and like so far as design goes. Is that the main reason to why I use this logo right here is to where it's something that interests the customer, something that interests somebody, and whenever they look at the logo, and then maybe they're going to come around to where like a magazine rack. So let's just say that whenever they see this logo right here, and maybe that they're going to want to look around maybe for a snack or something like that, or maybe to look around for coupons. So whenever they see this logo right here, they may come across to where like one of these papers that's going to have maybe a coupon or something like that in there. But really, though, sometimes it seems like, do you really have to be that curious really to know what that is? Try to make that most difficult situation sound so easy. People are going to ask you questions. Yeah, people are going to ask you questions about, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Either that they say that they didn't think about it during their time, or that maybe that it was not so simple. And sometimes, though, it seems like, like I talked about from before, I talked about, questions and, like any source of statement. And, you're going to have some of us who are going to start a conversation, and you're going to have somebody want to interrupt you and ask you a question. And then they're going to ask you about as to where that, they're going to want to kind of try and turn that in reverse too, to where that they're going to try to make it sound so easy just by asking a question. And I'm like, you wonder that too a lot of times, as to where that you spend quite a bit of time trying to get something to work or trying to figure out something, and somebody's going to ask a question to kind of make it sound easier, or just maybe try to get a better understanding. And whenever they do better understand it, and then they're going to want to, you give themselves credit just for helping you out or something. But really, though, that if it's going to be any source of test, any source of exam or some sort like that, but I say, according to what the instructions say, that the directions, it says, is to where you're not supposed to use a calculator, you're not supposed to use your notes, and you're not supposed to be talking to other classmates or other friends about something, because that certain things that you can't use during a test. But let's just say with most logos, though, is to where it's something that you can stare at, maybe for about 5 or 10 seconds. And you're also warned too, is to where that, is that logo going to remind you to do something, that you were trying to do earlier? Or is that logo going to maybe tell you that about something that you're able to read? And so, logos, I guess, are going to be made for like short descriptions about maybe for a company, a business, and maybe about something to where, it catches your eye. I'm like, exactly. I'll use my finger right here as example right here of something that, whenever you look at it, and then it's going to maybe get your attention somehow. And people are going to say that whenever you stare at something like a logo like that, and you're likely say you look at it up close, and they say is to where it's going to maybe remind them of something, or maybe, give them a thought of something or something like that. Shop around for something. But with most logos, though, I guess it's about keeping everybody posted about what they need to do as far as maybe getting something done. But for what's highly recommended, and I know a lot of companies are doing it nowadays, to where that they say that based on a lot of satisfied customers, that they do you recommend this service to somebody else? Do you refer a friend? So yeah, that you see that you'll hear about that quite a bit, to where logos. So that yeah, how'd you think about the service today? Let us know. And so they're going to ask for the customer's feedback also. And so yeah, I really just think though, like a lot of results and a lot of if it works, that's really the source of stuff I'm really looking for, is that to where if it works, but results, so far as success, the progress, and then the results as well. But other than that, thanks for watching, everyone. Talk about for logos right here, but better understanding about between why people make it sound so easy. But I just really think though, is to where that it seems like is to where by the time somebody figures it out and then they spread the word about it, and it's easy for you, but it's not easy for them. But I guess what are you going to say? Other than that, you learn something new every day, it seems like, huh? But other than that, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.